What is up, YouTube? My name is RSMario here, bringing you another news roundup video. Alright, so we have some pretty interesting news stories here. We have one where it looks like Nintendo might be smuggling goods into Russia through a shell company of all things. We have, it looks like Netflix is making some moves in the video game space. It looks like they acquired a big creator from one of the big three video game developers, so that should be pretty interesting. And it looks like AI is further taking over our lives and taking our jobs. China illustrators are dealing with that. And we have some news on, looks like politics and anime are clashing, because it looks like conservatives are trying to get manga banned in Florida. So we're going to check all that out today. Of course, if you want to continue getting videos like this from me, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, do all that stuff that YouTube requires you to do to continue getting videos from me. Follow me at twitter.com/rsmario128. I will post every video that I ever make on any of my channels on Twitter. So if you want to, watch my videos, follow me on Twitter, and you will always get my videos. Let's get on into the news. Alright, so we're going to get to the news. So the first story up is GameStop fires a guy after Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch leak. So an employee was investigated and fired after posting about Nintendo's special edition console. So now what they mean by this is essentially what happened is there was a leak last year. Actually, I think it was December of 2021. If I'm not mistaken. It might have been, I know it was a while ago, where somebody leaked the existence of the Tears of the Kingdom Switch, right? I did a video on it. Pictures popped up on Reddit. I did a video on it. It's out there if you want to see. It's already been officially revealed, so, but this guy didn't do that. He didn't reveal the system. He revealed the SKU for the system. He revealed the SKU for the system because he worked at GameStop, and he just, on the computer, he was just like, "Yo, dudes, there's another Switch. There's a Breath of the Wild Switch coming. I mean, a Tears of the Kingdom Switch coming." You know what I'm saying? Kind of to build up hype and, maybe to get some infamy. Oh, he leaked this. You know what I'm saying? And Nintendo, the ninjas found out and got GameStop to fire this man. So in March, an employee at the Massachusetts GameStop leaked on Reddit that Nintendo was probably about to reveal the long-rumored special edition Switch at the upcoming mini direct for Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Special editions such as these are highly coveted by collector's items, and the news of one for the sequel of the best-selling game will be huge for fans looking to buy the new system. This week, GameStop fired the employee who leaked the news, and the employee claims he was told Nintendo helped make it happen. Now, again, this could be true or this could be false. Now, the guy could be lying himself, and he could have just got fired by GameStop for leaking it, and it might not have involved Nintendo at all. Or GameStop or somebody at GameStop could have told him that Nintendo was involved and Nintendo was not involved, because if, GameStop can be kind of scummy like that. I've heard some horror stories about management at GameStops. So it could be true, it could be false, but knowing Nintendo's kind of aggressive stance when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom stuff, I would not be surprised. The Nintendo weirdness doesn't stop there. So we have another story. So Russian Nintendo manager reportedly running a shadow office to keep goods flowing. Alright, so basically what's going on here. So it looks like Nintendo Russia CEO Yasha Hadja, or Hadaji, is essentially kind of sort of smuggling goods into Russia. So essentially all the video game companies left Russia after the sanctions came down against Russia. Now, technically, there's nothing against you operating a company in Russia if you're an international party, but it's just a very bad look. So, it's just a very, very bad look for the company. So, of course, all the companies left. Now, what Hadja did was he has his own personal company called Avitka LLC, which is like achievement in Russian. And what he's doing is he's buying Nintendo products like Metroid Prime Remaster and then selling them under his own company, Advitka, or probably selling them to other stores or whatever to basically keep products coming into the company, into the country, which is interesting. I have to say it's pretty interesting. It's not exactly illegal, because it's legal in Russia for companies to import products from other countries in order to keep commerce going. So, I mean, the only thing is, is this against international sanctions? Since he is a Nintendo employee, technically. You know what I'm saying? That's a very interesting question. I don't think it is, though. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, I mean, this is not officially Nintendo doing this. It's this guy doing it on his own accord. So, it is very interesting, though. It looks like Nintendo's got a smuggler. We got a Han Solo over here. We got Russian Han Solo over here, man. Alright, so in more weird news, it seems like a Halo director or Microsoft director seems to be heading to greener pastures. So, Joseph Staten, who is known for his work as the creative director on Halo games at 343 Studios, is moving over to Netflix. So, the announcement comes less than 2 weeks after Staten announced his departure from Microsoft. Before joining the tech giant in 2013, he worked as a writer and director of cinematics for Bungie's first 3 Halo games. Basically, he wrote the cutscenes and the story elements for Halo, which is massive. But everybody knows the first 3 Halos are probably the best ones. So this is interesting. The last company outside of the gaming space that tried to do this, I want to say it was Amazon with that big MMO that came out like last year. That's the last company I know of outside of the gaming space that tried it, because Apple didn't try to do it. Apple mainly was publishing other people's games and buying contracts to other people's games. So this is interesting. I hope this works for Netflix, because I would love to see another platform competitor of a different type in the industry. So, kind of another digital platform akin to like Steam or Epic Game Store or GOG. I think that's going to be pretty interesting. So, we move over to anime news. So, we have our kind of anime news. It's kind of referencing Netflix as well. One Piece live action reportedly got a negative response in its first test screening. So, this comes from Divinity Seeker. I've never heard of this person ever in my life. It's a Twitter account. So, sometimes Twitter leakers be pretty lit though, especially if you're in the Pokemon community. Our Twitter leakers are on point, you know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting. So, Divinity Seeker said, from a source connected to Netflix, Avatar: The Last Airbender will no longer release in 2023, but Netflix believes this will be their Stranger Things, which that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. Nothing against Stranger Things, but Stranger Things and Avatar are 2 different things altogether. One Piece tested horribly. The CG looked bad and the story didn't make sense to non-fans, and they're rewriting entire episodes. So basically, entire episodes of the anime are being rewritten in the live action, which is expected because you gotta remember, more than likely, these are gonna be like 40 to 50 minute episodes. These are gonna be like an hour, pretty much. So you're rewriting 23-minute episodes of made-for-TV television. All right, you know what I mean? Made-for-TV is like, oh, this is like 21, 22, 23 minutes with 7 minutes for commercial breaks and OPs and stuff. You're rewriting that to more correspond with a 40 to 50 minute, you know, streaming TV type of show, which is, it works. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're watching a streaming show, you expect it to be, you know, different than regular TV show. And also from the source, as for the tone of the show, it's not really working. The makeup / look of some of the cast look off, and the show jumps between being over the top goofy to being serious, and it's jarring and inconsistent. They also build a giant set for Burutai and for episode 3. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know much about One Piece at all. I've never really watched. I haven't. Well, I'm not gonna say I never watched One Piece. I watched One Piece back when it was coming on Cartoon Network. You know, when they had the rap theme song. That was when I watched One Piece. That was the last time I watched One Piece. I don't know if it was the character designs or what. I just didn't get into One Piece like I got into Naruto or Bleach or some of the other shows I was watching at that point. But I mean, I can kind of see this being real. But one of the platforms that was carrying this story, CBR, deleted their tweet about the story. So Rogers Base, my local authority on One Piece, Rogers Base basically popped up on his vacation and said, dropping by on my vacation to say that to my knowledge, this is literally a made up story. And not long after he dropped this tweet, CBR, like the website, deleted their tweet with the story. It might be fake. Again, it could possibly be fake. I don't have any deep connection to One Piece, so I don't know. But take it as you will. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think that the One Piece adaptation by Netflix is going to be good, or do you think this is going to be trash? So, speaking of cash grabs, there's a rumor that Netflix, back in my video again, wants to make wants David Fincher to direct an American Squid Game remake. Now, I don't think I've ever seen this before. So, somebody's making an American adaptation of their own Korean property. So, technically, Squid Game is owned by Netflix. All right, it was produced and funded by Netflix. And so they already own the product. And now they're going to make an American remake of their own Korean property. Look, I'm not one of those people that hates remakes and reboots and sequels, but I think this is a bit much. You know what I'm saying? Netflix is reportedly developing an American remake of its hit South Korean drama Squid Game, and acclaimed film director David Fincher is supposedly at the top of the streamer's list to helm the project. According to trusted industry insider Jeff Schneider of the Hot Mic podcast, Netflix is courting David Fincher to produce and direct an American take on Squid Game. Snyder clarified that he has no idea if Fincher is actually engaging with frequent collaborator Netflix on the matter. Nonetheless, multiple sources claim that the streaming giant badly wants Fincher to tackle the project. So if you don't know, Fincher made Alien 3, he made Fight Club, Seven, Zodiac, basically a lot of awesome movies in the late 90s, early 2000s, and the 2010s. So him coming in to do a Squid Game remake would be pretty good. But the point is, why are we getting a Squid Game remake when we haven't even gotten the sequel to Squid Game yet? So you're trying to tell me we're gonna get a Squid Game remake and then we're gonna turn around and get Squid Game season 2? Is the remake also gonna get a season 2? So are we gonna have like Squid Game and then Squid Game America and then Squid Game season 2 and then Squid Game America season 2? Good lord. I understand what the people said now about remakes. Like I don't hate remakes as much as everybody does, but this is getting out of hand. And speaking of getting out of hand, we have our AI is going to take over all of our lives segment of the show here. So Google patents a system to automate game testing using AI. The patent proposes a system and method for training a locally executed actor component to execute real-time gameplay actions in a video game based on one or more gameplay data models generated by a remote learning service, with the goal of improving the efficiency and effectiveness of game testing. So this is kind of interesting. It'll be good for like big open world games that usually have bugs in them, but a part of game testing is how does a human feel when they play this game? Are there certain gameplay elements that we have to change, that we have to take out? Like when you're balancing a game, there's more to it than just does game work? Is all of the things aesthetically pleasing? There's more to it than that. You kind of have to be like, okay, everything looks nice, but does this work for a person? Is this fun? Does a person want to continue playing this game? And an AI probably won't be able to tell you that. But it's another example of AI taking over our lives and taking our jobs. Like there's a saying, they're taking their jobs when they talk about like immigrants. No, this time is the AI. Them the people you really got to worry about. I ain't worried about the Mexicans too much, but them AI though, they're taking your jobs, bro. And in another case, in China, AI is already replacing illustrators. So the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence has left many individuals concerned about their future of their careers, with the illustration sector being one of the largest industries expected to feel the impact of AI. AI image generation tools such as DALL-E, Stable Diffusion, and Mid-Journey, I almost said Mid-January, can now produce illustrations nearly indistinguishable from those created by humans. One notable development is the first manga drawn entirely using AI. Rest of the world, okay, that's actually a program or something. Rest of the World recently interviewed freelance illustrator Amy Yu, who disclosed that large Chinese gaming companies have begun utilizing AI to generate game illustrations. Previously, Amber could earn 3,000 to 7,000 yuan, which is about $1,000 roughly, for each video game poster she created. However, Amber Yu has observed a decline in illustration jobs as gaming companies return to AI software to produce similar drawings in mere seconds. These companies now offer only a small fee for artists to fix minor issues such as awkward body parts and oddly positioned hands. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you, what you do is you say no. That's what you gotta do. All right, because they need you to fix this to look right. Don't help them. All right. If they, my AI can't draw hands because AI doesn't understand what hands are. And you tell them, well, that sounds like a personal problem. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you got a human that knew how to draw hands, maybe you wouldn't have that problem. I'm just saying, I wouldn't help them. You know what I'm saying? I'd be damned if I'm gonna help you make me obsolete. Screw that. So conservatives want to pull manga from libraries over school shootings. Citizens defending freedom intend to challenge assassination classroom in Florida schools. Oh boy. So my whole take on this, as far as like, removing books from schools, I say it really depends on what's going on with the book and what age are the students in the school. Personally. Alright, I mean, if it's high school, you've mostly seen a whole lot of stuff by the time you hit high school. You've probably seen porn before. You know what I'm saying? You've seen a lot by the time you hit high school. So unless the book is like really, really, really graphic, like they're explaining stuff and like smut novels and stuff, that shouldn't be around any children. But if it's a book that has some kind of mild scene in it, that kid knows about Pornhub by now. You know what I'm saying? And as far as manga and stuff goes, I don't think manga is really bad. I mean, I guess there are bad manga that children should definitely not read. Like, I wouldn't give a child Berserk. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't give a child like Hell's Paradise or something like that. But an older teenager, like 16, 17, I believe they could probably read that stuff. But let's see what's going on here. Let's see if this is being over embellished or not. I'm convinced that conservatives. Oh, this is by the way, this is Sissy Yang. So if you don't know who Sissy Yang is, I have a little history with Sissy Yang on my second channel, because she actually did the Final Fantasy has too many white people article for Kotaku a while back. So you can check that one out. I already kind of have a history with Sissy Yang. So I'm convinced that conservatives have too much time on their hands instead of taking stances against, I don't know, Supreme Court justices, accepting lavish gifts or something. They're trying to pull a manga series out of Florida schools. The Citizens Dividing Freedom group intends to protect children from violence against teachers and explicit sexual content. Now, I've never seen Assassination's Classroom. I've never watched it or read the manga. So I don't know about sexual content, but technically Assassination's Classroom is about them trying to kill the teacher, because the teacher is an alien from the moon, and he's gonna, I believe, blow up the Earth or blow up the moon if they can't kill him. And basically this is teaching them like problem solving lessons and lessons of how like to work together and to try to save the world by killing him, So yeah, I don't know about sexual content though. I don't think there's any sexual content in it. Earlier this week, an advocacy group called Citizens Defending Freedom announced that their intention to pressure Florida middle schools to remove Assassination Classroom from libraries. AC is a manga series in which an alien blows up the moon and then threatens to destroy the Earth. He tells the world government that he would allow students to kill him and that they must succeed by their graduation. In the meantime, he teaches them subjects such as math, English. Their lessons are occasionally interrupted when students throw knives or shoot bullets at their alien teacher. Rather than being angry at the constant murder attempts, the teacher is elated and then when his students become better assassins. Again, interesting premise, but I don't think it's like, oh, we need to ban this. This is a nonpartisan issue. The group communications director Kristen Huber, we should all be able to agree that violence toward teachers and explicit sexual content is not something that schools should be glorifying or promoting, especially on taxpayer dollars. Folks, I can't emphasize enough how stupid this whole thing is. AC is one of the most wholesome mangas I've read last year. Is it wholesome though? Again, I don't know. I've never read the manga, you know what I'm saying, or seen the show. But would it be wholesome? I'm thinking, when I think wholesome manga, I think like Fruits Basket, or like I'm trying to think of another wholesome manga. You know, something like something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think of like Assassination Classroom as wholesome. But okay. Rather than being disrespectful towards public education, it's a beautiful story about how an alien teacher brings out the full potential of underperforming students who have given up on their futures. And while porn books do make an appearance in the series, you never see any actual sex scenes from them. It would be like banning Naruto because Kakashi reads explicit adult fiction in front of his students. Okay, of course the finger waggers. This is the thing about Sissy Yang's novel articles. She's always very borderline unprofessional for a journalist. Like, I mean, maybe it's just colorful, but it's just me though. The finger waggers don't care about context or art or what art actually means. They just want to ban things that they don't understand under the pretext of shielding children. Now, last time I checked, as far as context goes, left-wingers don't have a lot of context either. I'm not going to pick a side in this fight, alright? But left-wingers do not have context, okay? They don't respect context at all. Like, you know, like they banned some Dr. Seuss books because they had some questionable imagery in them, not thinking about the context of the time period that the books were made in. They've banned things like Huckleberry Finn. They banned things like Of Mice and Men. These are books that we had to read in school. All right, you know, but they're banned now because time periods, you know what I'm saying? That's context. The left don't have that either. So I don't know what you're talking about, Sissy Yang. So, speaking of left wing, right wing controversies, we have the queen of them all coming back. Despite new Harry Potter show, HBO Ball says he will not talk about J.K. Rowling's transphobia. Warner Brothers doubles down on their on working with Rowling on a faithful TV adaptation. So this week, Warner Brothers announced the returning of its returning to where Harry Potter cinematic universe all started, with a faithful adaptation, and they put "faithful" in quotation marks. HBO TV adaptation of J.K. Rowling's books, where the recent Hogwarts Legacy game tried to stay completely separate from the author and her anti-trans history. The streaming platform, rebranded as Max, doesn't seem to want to do that. They don't have the same hang-ups, as executives recently dismissed concerns about the controversy with weird non-answers. So Casey Bloys, of CEO of HBO Max, or Max Content, tried to hand-wave very obvious questions about J.K. Rowling's involvement during a Q&A with press on April 12th, following the TV adaptation's announcement. No, I don't think this is the platform. That is a very online conversation, very nuanced and complicated, and not something we're going to get into here. Obviously, the Harry Potter story is incredibly affirmative, affirmative, and positive about love and self-acceptance. Blois added, juxtaposing Rowling's past remarks with the source material and how it will be portrayed in the show. That's our priority, what's on screen. Which, to be honest, I think that's the best way for a company to react to something like this. Alright, because I mean, to be honest, like, yeah, it does seem like J.K. Rowling does not like trans people. But, I mean, if you're an extreme feminist like J.K. Rowling, and you see, like, kind of what's going on with the trans community, you know, as far as how, like, specifically trans women are really blowing up. Like, you look at, like, you know, what's her name? Caitlyn Jenner was Woman of the Year. So Caitlyn Jenner was the greatest woman of her year over all the biological women. And if you're a feminist who is an extremist woman, that would definitely be an affront to you. You know what I'm saying? And the way I think about it is, I think about it as if like that chick that was running the NAACP years ago, who turned out to not be a black person, if they got Black Person of the Year, that's the way I think of it. Like, that person's not black. That person's pretending to be black. So, tell me what you think about it down in the comments. I think the show is going to be pretty interesting. I've seen a big argument about people saying, what do you mean by faithful adaptation? Wasn't the movies faithful enough? Yes and no. I mean, because if you really think about it, as far as the movies go, you have about 2.5 hours to tell a story from this book. Would you rather have the 2.5 hour movies, or would you rather have a 8 to 10 hour series to tell the story of that book? All right, that 8 to 10 hour series can tell more of what the book was talking about than the 2-hour movie. Simple as that. Tell me what you think down in the comments down below. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, keep it real.